Hello, my name's Andy. Welcome to this vlog. Now today I'm at Falmouth Harbour. It's a very deep, natural, large harbour in Cornwall on the south coast, and I'm here today to talk about boats. Okay, so boats then. Ships, vessels, whatever you like to call them. I'll call them boats for today because there's so many different types. I mean, look out here. We've got all kinds of things going on. I'm going to attempt to try and draw parallels and similarities between us and boats. Now, bear with me because just go with me on this and see if you can keep with me and work out where I'm going with this. So, boats, they're all different colours. Different ages, there's newer ones, there's older ones, there's some which are smaller, some which are bigger, different colours, serve different purposes. We've got some over here which are struggling a bit, small. There's some here which define wealth, some which show that they need a bit of TLC. There's water taxis, there's boats from the Navy, there's pleasure craft, all kinds of things. And it's like us, we come from all walks of lives, we're all ages, we're all different colours, we come from different places and we do different things. But why don't boats just sink? I mean, some of them are huge. I mean, look at the size of it. That's made thousands and thousands of tons of steel. Why is it sat there on the water? Why isn't it just sinking? What's going on? Well, obviously the reality is that a lot of boats are, well, all boats have thought gone into them. They're skillfully made and created. There's a mixture of science, physics, maths and design that have been put into them, and they've been thoughtfully made. Of course, another important reason is that the water stays on the outside of the boat. That's going to be the main reason they're going to float, that water doesn't get inside them. If we imagine ourselves as boats, the sea is the water that's all around us, our surroundings, and the things that are going around outside our bodies, and the hull that's hopefully bone dry inside our boat is our state of mental stability and safe place and a peaceful place for us to be. Anybody who uses a boat, has access to a boat, will know that if you take it out in the water, the last thing you want is any water to get inside the hull. You've got to protect what's in the hull and keep it dry. The slightest hole will get bigger and bigger if it's not dealt with, but before you know it, your boat's half full of water and you're struggling. Water on a boat is a very bad thing, obviously, because it'll affect the movement of the boat, how it performs, how it reacts. It'll weigh it down, it won't let it operate properly, and it'll affect everything that it does. You don't want to take a boat out that's full of water. When the waters around us are peaceful and calm, it's like today when the sun's shining and it's safe in the harbour here and the water's still, life is good. The sun is shining, summer's on the way, everything is going well. We might be carrying a little bit of water, but we're going along nicely. It's only when the storms hit, or maybe in the middle of the night, when things come along and start to get on our mind, the state of the world, the state of the economy, the state of how much money people have got, so much hatred and fear in the world. Those are the things that leak into our boats and weigh us down and cause us real problems. Any tiny pinhole that they can cause can swell and become a major thing if we don't address them straight away. So it's all about staying positive and staying mentally balanced, and about doing things that give us value and make us realise just how amazing and wonderful this world actually is. We live on an amazing planet that's been given to us to look after, and we fill our times a lot of the time, unfortunately, with letting our minds run away, and we worry about things that are really difficult for us to be able to deal with individually, and they can weigh us down and cause us to be depressed or upset or offended or to hate, or all the negative things that we seem to be finding in this world at the moment. So it's time to let these things go. It's not about putting our head in the sand. It's not about denial. It's not about saying that these things don't need to be addressed. Of course they do. I'm just as worried as anybody else is about the state of the world at the moment and how many negative things there are. But we also need to balance that and remember just what a beautiful planet we live on. We weren't made to carry the burdens of the world individually. We weren't made to carry all this negativity around with us. In fact, being a man of faith, in the Bible we're encouraged to not worry and to hand it all over, everything over, and trust in God. But as individuals, human beings, we're not designed and we're not made to carry the burdens of the world individually. There's only so much we can do individually, and it's all about looking after our mental health and well-being. And the only way we can do that is adjust the way we look at things sometimes and make some changes. And I just want to explain to you some of the things that I do and the changes that I've made in my life to help me deal with it. So there's basically 3 things I'm doing to try and help keep myself grounded and look after my mental health and well-being and just keep myself positive and confident and in control. So the first thing I do is I've stopped using social media so much. I've stopped viewing all the news channels and all the things like that. I appreciate the irony. It's not lost on me in the fact that I'm making a vlog and I'm putting myself out there online in this way, but it's the only way I can think of getting across. So I've reduced down the amount of time I spend looking at what everybody else is doing and spending more time on my own centering. So I've cut down on the amount of news that I watch, all the doom and gloom and the speculation and the editorials and all the things that are thrown at us every moment of every single day and that try and pull us down. And I've decided to concentrate more on what I'm doing than trying to watch what other people are doing all around me. Spending more time looking at what I'm doing. I can't be the first and only person who's ever had somebody step out into the road in front of them while they're driving because they're so busy watching their mobile phone and keeping up with things and just generally using the electronic devices. It's a really risky business. People have stopped watching what they're doing, and that's dangerous in itself. But I've stopped using social media so much, and I'm actually spending time in my real world. Another thing I do, as I've mentioned in vlogs before, is that I paint. I taught myself to paint in watercolours 7 years ago. I paint animals and birds and wild creatures. That's what I do, and it's a really good way for me to escape and concentrate on something that is positive for me. And it's actually been a business. I've actually been able to make a business out of it. And the last thing I do is I want to spend more time with friends and family, or I want to spend more time in more peaceful environments. And it doesn't matter whether I take myself off and just sit peacefully in the lounge in the house, or whether I go out for a walk, or whether I spend time on the coastline, or whether I just spend time listening to music, or just in complete silence. That's 3 things of how I try and level myself and put everything back into perspective. We live in a wonderful world, and the sun's shining today, and I'm out here in Falmouth, and it's just great. And this is a really positive thing to be doing. Fresh air and just learning to breathe again. And one last thing before I sign off today. It's worth remembering that boats are safest in the harbour, all tied up at the moorings. But that's not what they're made for. They're made for adventure. They're made for exploration. They're made for experience. They're made for going out and venturing out into this wonderful world in which we live. So let's be confident. Let's not be scared and worried about what the future holds. Let's get out and enjoy this wonderful world that we've been given and find peace and strength in our lives. So I have to think about how much water am I carrying in my boat? How much burden am I carrying unnecessarily? What can I do to bail it out and to make my life fuller, richer and better, the way it was always meant to be? And I ask you just to consider the same. How much water is there in your boat?